What's up, tribe? How you, excuse me, how you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. So, this is Martha's Vineyard, Season 1, Episode 2. So, we pick up where we left off. They're still at dinner. Jasmine is very offended at the fact that Silas is insinuating that Jasmine is the one that keeps, is it Jada? Jayla, whatever, in trouble. She said, I know that people might have a certain idea about who I am because of what my social media, because of the Playboy thing. But please understand, that's how I eat. That's not who I am. She said, I always make sure that I'm safe and the people around me are safe. And like, she was really offended that Silas would sort of insinuate that they just out there willy nilly and they're not being safe or whatever. But I mean, they ended dinner and they said that they were cool. Later on, Silas was like, "Do you think I kind of came at her a little rough?" And she was like, "But your problem is you came at Jasmine, but you really got an issue with me. Like you really feel some kind of way about how I was behaving or acting when I was living in New York, not so much what Jasmine was doing." So Jordan, she's Jasmine, Jordan. I'm sorry, these two J's. So they go home, they go home and everybody's, getting undressed and stuff. Now, let me say this. I'm enjoying this show so far, but let me tell you the two things I ain't like. I didn't like the fact that I saw Silas' ass, and I didn't like the fact that I saw Amir's ass, okay? I don't need to see it. I understand that the cameras are there, but I don't feel like I need to see that. And I definitely didn't need to see Jasmine and Silas getting it in. I just didn't. And I understand if they were maybe trying to let everybody know that they were loud and other people in the house heard them getting it in, but you could have done that without showing us. It was just a big graphic for me. So the next day, Amir tries to shoot his shot at Jasmine, at Jordan. Lord, I'm getting the names mixed up. He's trying to shoot his shot at Jordan, so he takes her out. He invites her to go, kayaking or whatever. Um, Sir, I'm gonna need you to know your audience because nothing about Jordan would say to me that she wanted to go out on that damn boat. Now, she did it. She was a good sport. She went out on the boat, but I just don't feel like that's what she was really trying to do. Now, we are awaiting the arrival of two house guests that have not gotten there yet. We have Phil and we have Shanice. Now, Shanice is friends with Bria. Phil, I don't remember who the hell Phil is friends with. But Shanice can only come on the weekends because of her job. Phil, I don't know what Phil's situation is. Now, we found out that Nick and Shanice have kind of been flirting a little bit, And Nick been, kind of shooting his shot, And so we'll see what happens when Shanice shows up. That kind of thing. We found out that Jasmine likes to cook for her man. She said she's basically a housewife and she cooks breakfast for him every morning. She said she cooks for him every day, every morning. And he's made a comment about, well, it really bothered me when I found out that her and Mariah were living in their car, and that just let me know that basically, and I'm paraphrasing what he said, so my apologies. I don't have the word for word, but basically, he was like, I know she don't know how to take care of her money, so that's what I'm here for. I'm gonna make sure that she do right by her money. And I was just like, on one hand, I got you, and I can't be mad at you about that. But then on the flip side, I'm like, bruh, she a grown ass woman. Like, I don't know. I feel like Jasmine wants to live this Huxtable lifestyle, and it's almost like she's forcing it instead of just letting it naturally evolve. But I don't know. We're gonna see as this continues to roll. So, the group gets together. They get ready to go out on an outing, and Nick said that he got some jeans, and everybody is shocked that Nick got a pair of jeans. And Nick was like, "Listen, I have a pair of jeans. Okay, sometimes you need some jeans." He said, "I bought one whole pair of jeans with me here. You know." And he said that every man needs to have a tailor in their life. Okay. So they go bowling. They go to the bowling alley. They get dressed and everything. And they're going bowling. And bowling is fun. We found out that Bria really knows how to bowl, pretty good. She take that damn dog. And Bria knows how to bowl pretty well. She said that growing up, her family used to bowl, and so that's kind of how they stayed, connected or whatever. And I think she even said something about she used to bowl on a team. Me and my family used to bowl too, so we used to get together, and my niece and nephew actually bowled on teams, and my niece actually went to college on a bowling scholarship. So bowling is fun. It's something that me and my family do. So it was a nice little outing for them, to just hang out and bond a little bit, that kind of thing. Um, so Bria lets the crew know that Simon, her man from Germany, is coming in for the last week, and she asks, "Is it cool if he stays at the house?" And of course, Jasmine is like, "Sure, he can stay. Whatever makes you happy." Um, and in her confessional, the producers were like, "Well, do you think that she now understands how serious your relationship is with Simon?" And she was like, "No." She said, "Listen, Bria, I knew Bria when we worked together in the Playboy. We worked at the Playboy Club together, and I think she still feels like that is who I am. I'm still that party girl. She said, but I'm not her anymore. Like I've matured, I've grown, I've evolved, and I'm just um, that's not my thing anymore. And I don't think that Jasmine understands that. She's like, she said, I don't feel like that she understands that I've grown a little bit. I'm not her. Um, So Mariah decides to invite everybody to a moon mass. I don't know what the hell a moon mass is. I still don't know what a moon mass is, and I watched it on this show. But either way, she said, it's something that is important to her. It's something dealing with the hoodoo. She said that, her black heritage and her Mexican heritage both dealt with the hoodoo, and she wants to share that with them. So she invites them to come, and she said, think of it as a church service without God, which that's what left me right there. How you have a church service without God? That ain't church. That's just a get together, okay? She said, but your God. I don't understand that. But listen, okay, girl. What I can appreciate is that nobody outright was like, nope, that goes against my religion. I love Jesus too much. This is too, no, I'm not doing that. They were all kind of like, okay, girl. Like, nobody quite understood it, but everybody was like, we'll give it a try. Now, the first thing was, it was cold as hell out there. Now, I don't know when they filmed this. They clearly did not film this in the summer. Okay? But it was cold as hell. I feel like they filmed this in, like, fall. Because it looked like, during the day, it looked like it was warm enough for them to be outside in shorts and stuff. But then at night, it got really cold. So I feel like this might have been, like, fall. But anyway. So they're outside. Everybody came outside. And they're, like, bundled up. And Mariah is going through this whole exercise of her moon mass. And it dealt with crystals and chakras, and she said they were under the Taurus moon. I guess if I understood the astrology calendar, I would know when it was, because I would know when the Taurus moon was, but I'm not doing that much research. And of course, it was cold and it was late, and none of them knew what was going on. So they were kind of, giggling a little bit. They were kind of looking at each other like, what the hell? And when it got to the end, and she wanted everybody to kind of go around and talk about, I don't know how they felt after going through all of that, they were just kind of like, yeah, can we go in the house because we cold? And that hurt Mariah. I think it hurt her more than it upset her. I think she was hurt by it. And she sort of felt like they didn't take it seriously, and she felt a little disrespected. So Mariah is a little off. She already feeling some kind of way. She's not with her son. She tried to share something that was personal to her with the people or housemates, and she felt like they sort of joked about it, didn't take it seriously. So she's feeling some kind of way, right? She's already feeling some kind of way. So the next morning, everybody gets up. They doing their morning whatevers, and Shanice shows up. Shanice is, ready to party. Okay, she is all about. She walks in the door and was like, "Let's take a shot." Like, she is all about the party time. Immediately, Nick realizes that the girl in them pictures don't match the girl that walked in that door. Okay, well, Nick, listen. The girl in them pictures was Instagram ready. The girl that walked in that door had on some leggings, her hair in a ponytail, her glasses on, and was a fresh face. And I thought she was cute. So, Nick, see, that's the problem with men. Y'all think that that women just show up looking like they on Instagram. Like, that is not the everyday thing. right? But I still think that Shanice is beautiful. So Nick, I was liking you, Nick. Well, I still like you, Nick. But I had to give you a little bit of a side eye on that one. I had to give you a little bit of a side eye on that one, okay? Um, but it was cool because I don't feel like Shanice was even tripping off of you one way or the other. Like I don't think she was caring, girl. I don't think she cared. Um, but like I said, they're taking shots and they're sort of talking and getting caught up on what's going on, and everything is everything. So they're getting ready to go out to dinner. Um, Actually, before dinner, we had a little pool time, and the ladies were sitting around. They were gossiping a little bit. Um, and Jasmine was just talking about trying to figure out her new normal now that she's married, the balance between her husband and her friends, and all that good stuff. And then they got to talking about the guys, who likes who. So off rip, Shanice was like, Nick, no, he ain't my type. Like, no, that's not my type. So I was like, see, Nick, don't worry about it. You don't have to worry about her not matching her Instagram pictures because she's not even feeling you. Then they asked Jasmine who she was feeling, and Jasmine was like, I kind of like, Alex a little bit, right? And then Mariah said that she was kind of feeling Alex a little bit, and I was like, that's gonna be interesting. Um, Nobody said Amir. Okay. Well, actually, no. Shanice might have said Amir, but I don't remember, child. So they're getting ready to go to dinner, and Mariah was like, I'm not going. She said, I'm not going to dinner. I just feel like I need to just woosah. I need to regroup, and I need to sort of get myself together. And so they said, well, what about probably going out to the club and going drinking later? What about that? And she said, well, text me the information, and I may meet up with you. But right now, I'm just not in the right space. I can appreciate somebody when they know they're not in the right space to be in a group setting. Like the worst thing the thing I hate is when people commit to be in a group setting knowing that they're not feeling it, and then they make everybody else miserable or uncomfortable or create drama. Like I can appreciate that she was like, yeah, I'm not here for it. Preston is staying back because he has a chapter meeting. Oh shoot, he has a chapter meeting, so he's staying back as well. So it's Mariah and Preston at the house, and the rest of the group is getting ready to go. Well, just as the rest of the group is getting ready to go, Mariah goes to do her, like switch out her laundry, and she finds out that Bria has thrown the dog toys in the same wash as the community bath towels. Now let me say this. I am 100% team Mariah when it comes to this. I think Bria has an unfair expectation that everybody else should cater to her and her dog situation. The reality of the situation is this. I have no problem with you washing your dog stuff. Like, that's what you should be doing. But the fact that you felt like it was okay to just put your dog stuff, mix it in with the same towels that I'm going to be wiping my body with. And I get it. It's in the laundry. So that means that it's all coming out clean. I don't care. I feel like Mariah, when she was like, how dare you? Like, why would you put that in there? And I will say this though, Mariah's approach was a little, I hate to say the word aggressive, but it was because she was upset. She was irritated. And do I think she approached it as tactfully as she could have? No. She even took the toys and sort of shoved, like pushed them at Bria and sort of pushed Bria back. They got to arguing back and forth, and people got to be, then they started calling people the B word and this, that, and the other. The guys were like, yeah, we don't want no parts of that, because at the end of the day, ain't nothing we could say, bro. Like, the best thing for us to do is just stay over here where we are and stay out of it. Jasmine did try to talk to Mariah and basically tell Mariah, that, the way you handled that was a bit much. You came in there hot. And Mariah wasn't really trying to hear it. Why Mariah wasn't trying to hear it? Because, again, she was mad. She was still working out her emotions, and Bria just got the brunt of it. I understand why Mariah was upset, but I do feel like Mariah did not handle it as tactfully as she could have. Bria, though, you have to stop acting like everybody else has to cater to your dog, because they don't. Like, you brought this dog into a community setting without even asking if it was cool. You didn't know if people had allergies. You don't know if people have phobias. You don't know how people feel about dogs. And yet, you showed up with a dog, and you just got the dog all willy-nilly, and everybody's supposed to just adjust to that. Shanice left. Shanice said that ain't got nothing to do with me. She went outside to take her Instagram pictures. Okay, Bria is upset the fact that Shanice left her. She was like, she's my friend, and why didn't she have my back? Like she should have been in the thick of it, defending me and having my back. So after everybody left, Mariah basically has a breakdown. Mariah ends up breaking down. Preston is there, and Mariah's upset at herself and she's upset at the situation because she was like, I never wanted to come off that way. Like, that's not who I want to be. That's not the image I want to portray. And so she was upset that she allowed herself to go there, And she's still upset about what even happened. So we get to dinner and everybody's chilling and Bria is still upset. She's upset with Shanice because she feels like Shanice should have had her back. So she ends up getting up from the table and walking off. And Shanice is sitting there like, what's wrong with her? And they were like, well, she's upset with you. And Shanice was like, what's she mad at me for? Well, I think that, she felt like you were supposed to have her back. So maybe you could go and talk to her. And Shanice was like, that wasn't my fight. It wasn't my fight. It wasn't my issue. I didn't have nothing to do with it. Like, why am I expected to be a part of that? Like, I didn't have nothing to do with that. So she ends up going over there to talk to Bria, and she apologizes, child. And then Bria was like, well, you could buy me a shot. So she buys Bria a shot, and I guess all is forgiven, child. Whatever. Girl, I'm with Shanice. Like, that, I ain't got no dog in that fight. Nick said that, child. Pun intended. So while they're at dinner, Phil shows up. Phil walks in the door, and I feel like, he's drinking as he walks in the door. Like, he's already drinking. He's telling Preston, get your ass down here and take a shot. Get over here. So then he's looking for his room. Well, come to find out, the room that Nick chose is the room that Phil said he wanted via his video tour that he did with Bria. My thing is this, bruh, you show up 3 days late to a group situation, you get the room that's left. Like, I understand that you chose a room, but there are people who are physically there. And Nick was physically there. So Nick took the room. He's been sleeping in the room for 2 nights. Nick is upset. He's pissed off about it. He's cussing and stuff. He goes to talk to Mariah like Mariah's in charge. And he's pissed off about the whole situation. And he decides that it's a good idea that he's going to go and take a dump in Nick's bathroom and then not flush it. Like, nanny. And I'm just like, when we gonna grow up? Like, grow the F up. Like, that is so immature. So they finally get themselves together, Mariah, Nick, and Preston, and they head out to the club. Not Nick, Mariah, Phil. Phil is still upset by it. They get to the club, which really ain't no club, child. It looked like the place where people go and hang out and just play some music. Like, it's really not a club. So Phil immediately goes and approaches Nick about the room, and he was like, yeah, so Bria gave me a tour of the house, and that's the room that I picked out, so I'm gonna cuss you out later. Nick was like, probably not. I love how Nick handled this. Nick was like, probably not. He was like, yeah, and I took a dump in your bathroom. Nick was like, okay, because I'm sure Nick never imagined that he didn't fucking flush the toilet. So while this is going on, Jordan is telling Jasmine that she was wrong, that she needs to check Mariah because Mariah like physically put her hands on Bria, and that's not okay. She was like, listen, Mariah is my girl and I F's with her hard, but she's wrong and you really need to check her. Like, you need to let her know that the way she handled the situation was not cool. Mind you, Mariah is there. So now Bria automatically has an attitude, and Mariah is walking around like she ain't got a care in the world. And child, they end up leaving and going back to the house. Bria goes to bed. Mariah goes to bed. Both of them got attitudes. And then Phil is walking around with an attitude. Nick goes up to his room, and of course he goes in the bathroom. He sees what's there, and he goes up to Phil, and he was like, come on, bruh. Like, really, we better than that. Like, really, you gonna use my bathroom and not flush it? Like, I think we're better than that. And Phil was like, I told you, though. I told you. He was like, yeah, but you didn't flush the toilet. Like, come on. So Nick walks off, because I guess Nick is like, I'm not about to entertain this, and yeah, I am sleeping in this room tonight, so do whatever. And So then Alex is like basically defending, like telling Phil to chill out, really. So Phil rolls up on Alex and gets in his face, and he's like, "Yo, that's my room. That's my motherfucking room. Like, like, how dare you? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean, chill out? Like, that's my room. Like, I'm sleeping in that room. That's my room." And Amir is watching all of this go down, and so Amir like pushes up on Phil, and he's like, "Yo, you act like this is your house, bruh. Like all of us are here together, all of us are in this house, and like we picked rooms. Deal with it." And he's telling him like, "Just deal with it." And that's where the episode ended. But baby, when I tell you that Amir, I wasn't really feeling you, but I appreciate the fact that you was defending the situation. Like I can appreciate that. Baby, well, why Phil tried to give the example of, he said, it's like, because Alex was like, well, I didn't know. I mean, Nick was like, I didn't know that was your room. Why Phil gonna say, well, that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. I mean, that's like, if you ain't know that slavery was illegal, but you had your slaves. Everybody was like, what? How we get to slavery? Why are we talking about slavery? So yeah, I already feel like I'm not gonna be feeling Phil. I just don't think I'm gonna be feeling Phil. Okay. And that's where the episode ended. So y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.